Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Golfshake Podcast. Firstly, we have got a massive apology to make that we weren't here last week. Okay, we were in Portugal. It was busy. Matt, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
We had a
sorry.
lot going on.
I'm not sorry.
You're
Just
not
to say,
sorry.
no, I'm not sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry because we said we were going to try our best. It was a bit of a mixture of technology not being on our side and also just how busy we were really last Monday. That it was a bit of a difficult one, wasn't it, mate? To be honest, but we're back. We've got twice as many things for you to talk about, but we're going to talk a little bit about what we got on doing in Portugal, really. But we'll start off as usual, with a bit of a rundown of what's gone on in professional golf over this weekend, and we'll start with the PGA Tour, which we obviously had the Genesis, which was pretty good. Golf course always looks awesome there. Never played it, never been to that part of the world really, but it looks absolutely class. Obviously, the headline at the start of the week was Tiger's return, his new clothing, footwear, accessory line that's going on in conjunction with TaylorMade and Sunday Red. But make of it what you will. Some of you love it, some of you hate it. I'm a bit on the fence at the minute. I think it looks exactly the same as Nike clothing, just with a different logo on it. But I don't think Tiger's ever been that big a clothes horse in terms of, no brand's ever been particularly excited about what he's wearing. But and certainly Nike didn't really sell a ton of TW clothing, I don't think. I think the footwear was a bit of a different story, but the clothing never really shifted the needle, and he's always quite conservative in what he wears as well. There's never anything that outlandish.
Also, like Tiger was his son. Like, I know it sounds ironic, but he's Sunday Red, right? And that's what we remember him for. Like, I don't remember what he wore on Saturday or Friday, Thursday. You just don't remember. So in terms of a physical line, but I haven't seen too much. Obviously, I've seen all about the logo and the name and stuff like that, but I've not seen, a range of stuff. So, yeah.
I've only seen the press release from last week, and there was some images. Obviously, he was wearing the footwear this week and the clothing for the one and a little bit rounds that he did play.
I did see a nice touch though. What he was wearing on Thursday, I think, was the same top design, similar to what he wore, because the Genesis was his first PGA Tour event, wasn't it? When he was like 17 or something. And basically, he wore the same. It was the same top that he wore all those years ago, which was a nice touch. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it's probably before he signed for Nike. That.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think he signed before he even turned pro. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys make of it. It'd be interesting to hear your comments. Really, I mean, for me, it looks very Nike-esque. I mean, he always wears lambswool sweaters, which obviously is kind of generally reserved for the senior section at your golf club. But I mean, he's always been pretty similar in what he's worn. It's been fairly boring stuff, and there's a lot of players out there that don't really wear anything particularly outlandish, and fair play to them. I want them to be comfortable in what they're wearing for them to play well. But yeah, most brands are going to be pretty, they're going to kind of script clothing for people and tell them what to wear, aren't they? And I think Tiger's one of these who doesn't want to be told what he's going to wear, and fair enough. But I mean, obviously he's not worn the Nike shoes for a little while. These Sunday Red shoes that he was wearing looked like a really old style of Nike shoe that was out a long time ago, and not too dissimilar from the very uncomfortable looking FootJoys that he's been wearing for a little while. But yeah, there was obviously a bit of controversy with Spieth as well, wasn't there? Getting DQ'd, and a lot of people kind of have had their little bit of a say on that. I mean, personally, I think that golf's a game where you've got a card in your hand and you've got to make sure it's right when you hand it in. I'd get the kind of the point of view of people saying that, everyone's watched every shot he's hit for the entire 18 holes. Everyone knows what he shot. So, really the scoring could be done electronically or by, the powers that be on the PGA Tour and the shot link, all that sort of stuff that they have, and they know where every single ball's gone, that every single person's hit, don't they? So it's quite easy for them to do that. But I still think there's that kind of element within golf that card and the kind of signing of it and going to the scoring hut and stuff like that. Now, I do understand that he had a little bit of a problem with toilet troubles basically at the time, so he was trying to get out of the scorer's hut as quick as possible so he could get to the bathroom. But yeah, maybe you should have been cut a little bit of slack for that. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know what your take on it was.
It seems, I think, from the outsiders, it would seem quite petty. For those of us that play golf, I mean, rule number one: when you finish a round, you double check your score. We all do it, whether it's a medal Stableford on a Saturday and Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's it's
You'd
pretty
be
basic
surprised the
stuff.
amount of cards we have thrown in at the shop at Howley, mate, that aren't signed. No one's even put the handicap on them. Sometimes not even their full name. So yeah, it's crazy. Every Sunday morning trying to do the comp admin's horrible, but yeah, it happens all the time. But yeah, I mean, at that level, there's no excuse for it really, and
No.
I think that most people would be fairly accountable for that. I mean, it's not something that happens every week, is it, on the PGA Tour, that people aren't signing scores properly or are rushing off because they've got an upset stomach. But
But these things tend to crop up from time to time. Was there someone the week before at the Waste Management missed their tee time? They got their timings wrong
okay,
and missed
yeah,
their
was
tee
it
time.
Lucas Glover? I think
Lucas
wasn't it?
Glover, that's it. Yeah, like you're thinking like that's like basic stuff, like just turn up on time. But I don't know if it was a time zone thing or an AM PM thing. I can't remember what it was.
Not
Seems
sure.
like a long time ago now.
I'm sure it happens. But back to the golf. I mean, we saw a hell of a finish, really. Quite a climax to the round. I don't know if you watch much of it, but Matsuyama really just strolled through the field with a 62, birdied 3 of the last 4, including I don't know if any of you guys watched this, but 15 and 16, he hit iron shots on both to about 3 inches, 4 inches on both
I
holes.
think the combined distance to hole on those two holes were like 12 or 13 inches. It's
Yeah,
like
it was pretty impressive.
to the
Yeah,
point. I think the commentators were saying, "Is that a replay of the 15th? It was actually the 16th hole."
that's right. Yeah, it was just so
Yeah.
good. There was obviously a few other players in the hunt. So Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele were up there for a time and kind of faded away a little bit, quite disappointingly. Zalatoris, I thought was going to win at one stage. He held a nice putt on about the 10th or 11th hole, I think, to get himself into the lead on his own at the time. And just didn't really finish it off. But it's good to see him back out there and competing and playing again. And looking at the way he is playing, and he looked to have putted quite nicely as well. It'd be good to see him contend again because he was in such a good place when he got that injury. It wasn't long after he played that US Open where he narrowly missed out to Fitzpatrick, and he's hardly played golf since, really. So it'd be good to see him get back to hopefully winning ways.
And you think he was at a level with what was, let's be honest, quite an iffy looking putting stroke.
Yeah.
And he's gone to this broomstick, the long putter, and seems to be, he could be dangerous this year if he carries on that.
Is it one of the Lab Golf ones that he's using?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
it does look. They do look pretty
Look
cool.
very steady.
It'd be good to. I mean, I've not ever used or reviewed one of those. It'd be great to get hold of one. So if anyone's listening from Lab Golf, it'd be good to get hold of one. Yeah, because everything that you see in terms of the testing and the way that they kind of reduce twisting and things like that in the putting stroke, it'd be really good to see that. I know players like Adam Scott have kind of messed around with some of their putters in the past, and to be honest, you see a lot of guys who've used either broom handle or some of the like arm lock or longer kind of counterbalance putters. A lot of people have kind of messed around with that style. So yeah, it'd be good to see that as well. Yeah, I mean, the one big, when you talking about putting, the one big kind of talking point that I saw this week was a lot of people kind of giving Scotty Scheffler a bit of grief.
Rightly so.
Well, I don't know if it is. I mean, I think when you are as good as he is from tee to green, you're probably going to have more putts than most people. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those.
Yeah, I think it's all the proximity and the strokes gained stuff, isn't it? Because that takes into account putts that in theory you should be holding. And I know that's easier said than done, but his stats are off the charts, aren't they, for iron play?
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
he's comfortably in the top 2 or 3 at every event from tee to green, isn't he? Really. Short games, obviously, his short games are immense. But yeah, he just doesn't seem to hold his fair share of putts. I don't know. I think he has gone through some changes, hasn't he, with his setup, and that just might take a bit of time to bed in. And he might have these streaky weeks where he's awesome, and then some weeks where he's a little bit more average. But in a week when he puts well, he's going to win, isn't he? Simple as that.
Yeah. And also, you look at his finish. What did he actually finish this week?
I think he shot 3 under in the last round.
So he's tied for 10th, and we're talking about him like he stunk the place out on the greens, which
exactly, and he's not done that at all. I mean, I don't know how many putts he's had in each round, but I bet he's still less than 36 every single time he's putted. But the level these guys are at and the amount of greens they hit and how close they are, you probably need to be somewhere around 30, even on a bad day, don't you? Really, it's one of those. But he's certainly not someone I would mind having their entire game. Do you know what I mean? He's extremely good.
I play Greensons with him.
Yeah, me too, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I think some of it is a bit unfair, if I'm honest. We've all got different strengths. I mean, you could say the same about Spieth. He's generally amazing at putting and literally hits it like a complete idiot off the tee most of the time. So you generally don't find many players that have got everything. And unfortunately, putting's the thing that you see most people do, isn't it, on TV? So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not as if he's like yipping putts or missing from a foot and stuff like that, is it? He's just not holding anything, really. But
he was
maybe it's a little period that he's having that he's going to come through. I don't know.
Yeah, he'll be okay. I'm just looking now. Scotty Scheffler was literally, of all the players that made the cut, he finished tied for 10th and he was dead last strokes gained putting. And he was first strokes gained
off the tee and with irons
around the green. Off the tee. I mean, this is crazy. So he gained 7 strokes around the green, but lost 4.3 strokes putting.
Yeah.
Oh, make you sick, doesn't it?
Well, I suppose that's 3 over net 3, isn't it?
Yeah. Still finished 8 under in a tie for 10th.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a completely different level that they're playing at, though, isn't it? But no, I mean, it was good to watch. Great to see Hideki win as well, and gets him on that kind of trajectory that all these players are looking to get to for Augusta. And being a previous winner there, you never know. I don't know if you've got any picks for the Masters this far out, Matt, or whether you've even thought about it yet.
Yeah, I always think about it. You pick the same players. I pick the same players every year. I think there's a selection. There's a selection of golfers that Augusta suits. I never back Rory because I want him to win there so badly. But I always look at Cam Smith, Matsuyama. I always look at someone else. Obviously, like the standard Freddie couples to make the cut because who'll do that stuff like that. But
I think DJ would be a good shout this year as well. I mean, he seems to be playing quite nicely. Rahm's obviously up there.
There is another one that I always back. I can't remember. It's gone off the top of my head, but
Tiger.
No. There's just someone else. But yeah, Matsuyama and Cam Smith are 2 that I always look at around there. But it's difficult, to know what sort of form Cam Smith's in.
He's been playing okay, but I think Rory would be the one for me. I think that if he turns up and plays anything like, I think he's got a very good chance.
That would be
this good. Year. I think more than most. I think he just seems to be pretty content with what he's doing, and he's not getting too bogged down with all the rubbish off the course that he's doing before. So yeah, hopefully he's good. But yeah, we've got a few more podcasts to talk about this coming up in the next month, haven't we? Really, but
it's not long. We're at the Masters countdown.
We're a month and a half out, really. So
52 days.
Are we? Right. Okay. Good. It's always good when that comes around, isn't it? Hopefully that'll be the signal of it stopped bloody raining in England and I was getting out on the golf course again, because last week really kind of whet my appetite for playing golf again, and then all of a sudden I've not touched a club since, and it's been back to square one again. But yeah, we'll talk about our trip in a little while. But on the LET, they had an Aramco event, which I don't know if you watched much of this.
Yeah, I watched a bit of this.
So Patty Tavatanakit won by 7 shots, quite impressively, to be honest.
Very emotional at the end.
Yeah, she was actually. Yeah. And I think, is it a couple of years since she last won? But she's always been a player that, I mean, whenever I've seen her play and whenever I was at the Ladies Scottish Open and watched her there, and I thought she was pretty impressive. And you just kind of think that she's always got that game to win. And I mean, to win by 7 is pretty impressive, isn't it? And yeah, played well. Charlie Hull was up there again, had a good start to the season now. She's done, you know, I saw some interviews with her saying how much work she'd done over the winter, not just on the golf course and practicing, but also in the gym and kind of trying to get her body right and be as fit as she can really start in the season. And she looks to have done that quite nicely. She sort of started very well, had two good results already, and I think is pretty much looking forward to this season. I think it's all, for me, it's all kind of stemmed from her doing really well in the Women's British Open. She just seems to have kind of thought, yeah, I can do this, got her head down and cracked on with it, and fair play, because she's a very, very good player. So, yeah, hopefully we're going to see a bit more of Charlie this year as well. But yeah, really good finish there, dominating really. And yeah, who's to say she's not going to win a few more times this year? But the week ahead, we've got Magical Kenya Open, which I always quite like watching. To see the ladies in Kenya a couple of weeks ago was good, with the giraffes and zebras kind of walking across the golf course. I thought it was pretty cool. So it's the men's turn this week, heading out there. It's not the strongest field I've ever seen on the European or DP World Tour, if I'm honest, but there are still some great players there. You know, Adrian Ortegi is one that springs to mind that looks like it's an event that he would fancy. But I don't know if you've looked at the field, Matt, and seen kind of what players you fancy for this event. But there's a lot of obviously Kenyan players in the field, isn't there?
Yeah, I look at players. I look at the South African guys as well.
Yeah.
Tristan Lawrence, Dylan Fratelli. Yeah, I mean, we say this every week about the DP World Tour. To be honest, it could be any one of 20.
Yeah.
You just kind of never know.
Yeah, I mean, and like I say, some of these events. So there's now, and then there's two in South Africa, the 2 weeks after, and these are probably events that some of the, not saying that these guys are playing aren't big names, but some of the kind of more standout names on the DP World Tour might just miss out and have a bit of a rest for a few weeks before he starts kind of ramping up towards the Masters again. So you might see some winners that, a bit of a surprise in these few events. But like you say, I think with it being in Kenya and two in South Africa, the South African players tend to do pretty well in South Africa. And I'd imagine the next 2 weeks you're going to see a lot of Sunshine Tour guys get starts on the DP World Tour as well. So, you're probably going to see players that you don't really see all that much of. But yeah, they tend
just looking at the past winners as well. It's not like they're completely unheard of. Jorge Campillo last year, Ash Amwu the year before, Justin Harding before that, and Guido Migliozzi in 2019. So it's not like they're absolutely nobodies. But what we're saying is that you've got that pool of players,
kind of just below that sort of upper echelon. I mean, I would probably class Ortegi as kind of up there, but yeah, the sort of not kind of prolific winners and prolific sort of performers really, but obviously got great game and more than capable of competing. But PGA Tour is again another similar story where they're in Mexico this week, so it's an event that a lot of the top guys are going to miss. I'm fancying Charlie Hoffman, mate. I'm pretty sure he just seems to be coming in some nice form. So I'm just hoping he's going to blitz everyone in Mexico this week and see exactly how good he is again, and hopefully get himself, because he was always talking of the Masters. He's always your first round leader kind of bet, isn't he? That you chuck up there, yeah. So yeah, hopefully. I mean, he seems to have started well. It's been good to see him again playing. I really forgot how much I enjoyed watching him play golf, because he just looks so simple when he's hitting it. And from tournaments I've been to in the past, particularly the Open, watching him chipping round a green, he's absolutely frighteningly good. One of the best short games I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's actually good to see a lot of the guys that come off the DP World Tour playing the PGA Tour this week. So you've got Nicola Højgaard, Ryan Fox, Torbjørn Olesen, Thomas Dietrich, Bob McIntyre's playing.
Is he okay? Cool.
Yeah. Rio Hitsatsuni, Alexander Bork. So it's a nice mixture, actually. Nice mixture of.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Olesen carries on the way he was playing in the Middle East, I think he'll do fairly well over there as well.
Yeah. Sami Välimäki, I don't know how he's going to cope with the heat.
Okay, no, I don't know either.
But yeah, no, it's
cope with the heat.
Yeah, It's just weird when you see like a Finnish. It's from Finland, isn't he? Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, kind of like sweating buckets in the heat.
Speaking
uh,
of heat, Matt, right? Let's change the subject completely. So, for those of you that keep abreast of what we're doing on social media, those of you that follow us on Golfshake, watch our videos on the YouTube channel, you're going to be seeing lots more content from us very soon that we filmed over in Portugal. Because myself, Matthew, Darren, Ben, and Tom went over to Quinta do Lago, didn't we? We were there. We went last Sunday, spent 4 pretty action-packed and full days there, doing lots and lots of stuff that you can do around the estate of Quinta do Lago. So we enjoyed 3 of the golf courses in Laranjal, Quinta North and Quinta South. We also went to the sports campus. We went to the gym. We ate in a lot of the restaurants. We used the range, the Paul McGinley Performance Centre that was there. We met the teaching pros and obviously also played lots and lots of golf while we were there as well. So we were filming a tuition series, which will be coming out in the next few weeks in the run up to the season, but also some club review stuff that we didn't get a chance to do because of the terrible weather here in the UK. So we've actually hit some out on the golf course out there as well. And those of you that have been on the social media channels, we did some Instagram lives each day, didn't we, on each of the courses that we played, and whether it was a par 3 or some of the par 4s out there, we did something out on the golf course. So it was good. It was action packed, mate. Wasn't it? It was absolutely full of stuff. But yeah, what was your kind of take on the few days that we spent over there?
so I'm going to say 2 things. Firstly, the highlight was definitely paddle.
Okay, yeah, it was
we,
good
had,
actually.
we had a good game of paddle, didn't we? Which was
We did.
my first time. Was it your first time?
Yeah, my first time too. Yeah, it was great. Really
Oh, yeah.
enjoyed it. It's something that I've wanted to try for ages, but I think in that doubles format, it's brilliant because
Yeah.
you just literally running around all the time. It's a bit easier than playing I would imagine singles is very tiring.
Yeah.
But doubles
Yeah.
seems pretty friendly and pretty
Yeah.
good. But it was a nice workout, and it was nice and sunny on that day as well, wasn't it? Nice and warm, and we were boiling in that little glass.
We were,
glass
yeah, like a little greenhouse. So that was fun. The second thing I'm going to say, right, is that I know a lot of people from the outside will look in at trips like this and think, oh yeah, it's just just playing golf 3 days in the sun, and potentially maybe the last day might have been a bit of that, but the first day in particular on the Monday. That was a very long day. What people don't see is they don't see the early start. We was up at the golf course by 7:10.
Well, I think we were up. I mean, I don't know what time your alarm went off, but it was 6:30, wasn't it? And then we left 7:15 to get to the golf course. Sort of went, had a look around the clubhouse, took a few videos around there, went to the range and kind of took a little bit there, and then got onto the golf course and started filming, didn't we? So it was a big day, wasn't it? Really, yeah.
Yeah, but then after we finish the golf, like what people are going to see is people are going to see these short, punchy 2-3 minute videos, whether it's club reviews, whether it's tuition. And they all look great individually, but what people don't see is the fact that you guys, and I say you guys, I was there doing some social media stuff and hitting balls, but yourself and Tom in particular, like once you finish golf and then you have a bit of lunch, then you're back on the driving range for another 3-4 hours in the heat, just constantly talking, constantly recording.
It was
one
tiring,
after the other.
yeah.
And that was. I mean, look, I understand how these sort of things work, but I think it's good that people kind of understand that it's not just a jolly, right? There's a lot of hard work that goes into these trips.
It definitely wasn't a
building the
jolly. Yeah, I
content
mean,
for people.
it was nice being there in some nice weather and it being nice and warm, but it was absolutely not a jolly. Particularly that first. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever been as mentally exhausted in my life as I was that first day that we got there. Yeah, not only did we obviously play golf, which was great fun, don't get me wrong, but it was, like you say, an early start. We were up in the dark, weren't we? Then
got bitten to shreds.
Yeah, got bitten by mosquitoes like you wouldn't believe. But then straight after that, we were at the performance centre, filmed in there, didn't we? With 2 of the one the head pro there, Callum, and then Tara, one of the teaching pros there, took us around the academy, and then we got to go onto the Paul McGinley sort of design short game area and put in bit, didn't we? Really at the top end of the range. And we filmed, I reckon we must have filmed about 25 videos. while we were up there, which was mental. But yeah, by the end of it was probably 3 and a bit hours straight of just me talking, really, which I'm sure is boring to it's boring to me, so it must be boring to a lot of you guys. But yeah, just to make lots of little short 2-minute sort of coaching videos, as well as some of the best of golf club videos that we've made. Honestly, by the time it started getting dark as well, didn't it, when we left? So it was literally from dawn till dusk that we were working. I didn't have any words left in my body, really, that night. Where did we go for food that night? Was it the steak restaurant? We went to Bovino, didn't we?
Yes.
The steak
Yeah.
restaurant. I was literally sat at the table, almost like shell-shocked. Didn't really have much left, but no, it was great.
Yeah. Didn't stop me from shoveling down some of that steak, though. That was really good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Very, very good. I mean, that's another highlight for me was the sort of restaurant experience that we had while we were there. And it wasn't just so we went to 2 standout, I would say, restaurants while we were there. So Bovino, which is kind of steakhouse really there. And it was almost like a sharing menu that we had. So there was 5 of us there. Darren, unfortunately, the vegetarian, didn't get to taste any of this amazing steak, but his loss was definitely our gain, mate, wasn't it? And the 4 of us sort of tucked into some nice cuts of meat around the table there. Lots of different sort of sauces and sides and things like that we tried, as well as a really nice kind of mixed plated starter that was fantastic. We also went to the sports bar at Dano's, didn't we? So we went there a couple of times and ate, which was great. There was obviously sport on at the time one evening that we were there, and it was quite a nice atmosphere. We went to the Cheeky Pup, didn't we? The Irish kind of pub / restaurant, which was great on the final night we were there. Typical sort of pub grub, but very good quality pub grub, I would say.
Yeah. The kids would call that place vibey, I think.
Yeah, I would have said so. I maybe wouldn't use that term myself, but it was definitely, there was some atmosphere there, wasn't there? Yeah, it was very much a kind of, I don't know. It felt like a bit of a community hub for Quinta del Lago, really. There's lots of people. It was Valentine's Day, actually. We were there, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
There wasn't many couples there, though, to be honest. There was just lots of people enjoying it, having a couple of pints of Guinness, and the Champions League was on as well, wasn't it? So watching a bit of that. But for me, the standout that we had was going to, there's a Japanese restaurant that was there called Umami, which is immense. I mean, it was probably one of the best dining experiences I've ever had. We've got a video coming up that we're going to talk a little bit more about our experience there, which was just phenomenal. I thought the service was different class to anywhere I've been in a long time, and the food itself, it was just fantastic. It was using lots of kind of local produce to the obviously area around Quinta and in Portugal, but obviously Japanese dishes, which were fantastic. So yeah, there's tons of stuff to come. But it was full on, mate, wasn't it, for a few days? And, just it was great to, from a personal point, that's the first time I've played golf since I was in Texas last year. That was on Halloween last year. So that is a long time ago, just purely because of the weather over here. And I'm going to Turkey next Friday, mate. So I'll be playing in a pro-am over there. So I won't have actually played golf in the UK for a long time. And I don't see that changing anytime soon with the look of the weather forecast in the middle of this week. But yeah, it was a hell of a trip, wasn't it? And good to sort of experience pretty much everything that Quinta had to offer.
Yep, I would definitely agree. Do you want to, are we talking courses? Are we going to have a little?
Yeah, come on, let's talk about that. So we started, you've already said we started at Laranjal, didn't we? Right. So that was the first day of our trip. Obviously, you've written the course review, but yeah, you talk a little bit for a couple of minutes on what you thought.
Yeah, so Laranjal blew me away, to be honest. I think if you go to a place like Quinta del Lago and you come across a course like Laranjal, I think it's perfect for golfers of all abilities, right? Because the fairways are quite wide. If you go offline, you're going to struggle a little bit, but you should at all golf courses. I love the fact that there's loads of different tee boxes that you can pick from. So, if you've got people that maybe don't hit it as far, they can still enjoy the water features coming into play and bunkers coming into play. But I think it was just like the way that the day started, it was a little bit dull, wasn't it, to start with? We waited a few holes for the sun to come out. And then when it did, boy, did that golf course look really, really good. I liked the fact that it was fairly. It felt like it was on an open piece of land. So some holes were fairly tree lined. There was lots of elevation changes, which I love, but there's just these little gaps and where you could look past one green and see the fairway and another green and another tee box, and you could see a lot more of the golf course. And I just find that really really appealing on the eye. And the courses are in, like, the greens are in such good condition. They're rolling really nicely. And
Yeah, they were. They were
we talked
beautiful.
about that little, that kind of like crunch that your pitch mark repairer makes as it just goes to
Yeah,
the
we
top
did.
surface of the green.
Better than the squelch that you get in walking across the greens.
Yeah.
But
And it just, it gives you confidence. You're getting good lies. It helps that, we made birdies between us, which was
yeah,
nice
it was
as
good,
well.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And then we played the North course the second day, didn't we?
Yep.
And the second day was a little bit overcast, and that course felt a lot tougher, especially off the tee. We talked about this in a few of the videos that we did, where you really needed to keep it in play. If you can keep it in play, you can definitely score. But keeping it in play
Yeah,
off the tee
it was definitely a step
crucial.
up, wasn't it, in
Yeah,
terms of difficulty, I thought, than Larangel was more fun, I thought, to
yeah,
play. But because it kind of eased us into the trip quite nicely, I thought,
yeah,
you could spray it off the tee a bit, which some of us did. You could miss greens. You had a bit of a chance getting up and down. There's a bit more water on it, I would say, than the others, but
yes,
you had to be quite a way off to be in trouble, really, didn't you?
yeah,
And it was, yeah. Whereas North kind of got you thinking a little bit more about it to
yeah.
me.
But then also with the North, what I found is if you did go offline, there was no, oh, you might be on the next fairway. You're hitting the trees and you're dropping down, and you're either behind a bush or you're on the pine straws or you've got trees,
Yeah,
and you might be lucky and you might have a gap and you might be able to advance it out a little bit, but more often than not, it's just chip it out, get it back in play. But not the longest course. Even off the tees that we played it, the second set of tees back, the golds we played, it wasn't crazy long.
no, it wasn't.
But it wasn't until after, when I was doing a little bit of research about the course, and that's what I think it was Paul McGinley helped redesign it.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what they were saying, that they wanted this to be plot your way around, strategy off the tee, rather than bomb it everywhere.
Yeah,
Um, and I think sometimes we're just guilty of just grabbing the driver and just trying to hit it as far as you can. But actually, if you hit in longer irons and free woods off a lot of the tees, you can definitely put a score around there. And again, some nice views, a fair bit of elevation change. It was. I don't think I enjoyed the North as much as I enjoyed Laranjal.
okay.
And then
No, I get that.
I thought it wasn't until we played the South on the third day that, because I didn't think Laranjal was going to get topped, but the South topped Laranjal for me.
Yeah,
And I could tell that was going to be the case maybe 3 or 4 holes in. Just the way the holes are framed, the way that they're laid out, the condition. The first hole kind of gave me Villamora old vibes, where it's a short par 4
yeah,
on
yeah.
the
No, I
hill,
get
tree
that.
line, but quite inviting. And then the second one, the par 5, you hit a really good tee shot there, I remember. And the fairways kind of feel big, and it's just like it's almost perfect. And then you get, like, when I'm writing the features for the course, I'm very conscious of writing hole 1, hole 2, hole 3. Like, I don't want to talk people through, but it was difficult to kind of cherry pick, especially the front line. I found that doesn't mean to say the back line was bad, but I almost found it, quite difficult to cherry pick 2 or 3 holes, because we had that one where the water came into play, where we kind of both went long and left without realising, we could
Yeah,
have
yeah,
gone back a little bit further. Then after the par, we had that nice par 5 where it kind of swooped in around the trees, and then the par 4 going up, and then before you know it, you're talking through every single hole. But again,
yeah,
elevation changes, some of the views. The back nine was definitely, I mean, the way that I played the
yeah.
back nine, it was definitely tougher.
Like, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said to you before playing it, once you get to that 14th hole where it's like downhill, you've got the water on your right.
Yeah,
You play into the green net, and then you play 15, the par 3, straight over the water, where we did an Instagram live, which is a feature hole. 16, which then goes down to the lake, which we were at doing some filming that morning. We got the drone out, didn't we, on the lake? We got Tom to actually land it on a little green that was out there as well. So hopefully we'll get that on social media for you guys to see, because that was quite cool. And then when you play 18 as well, when you're hitting it over the water there, long par 5, and it's just
17.
sorry, 17,
Yeah.
and then the par 4 to finish. Just such a good finishing stretch. For me, 14 to 17 are the best stretch on the golf course, really. And then and then the last hole is obviously quite nice as well, but a little bit shorter and a little bit easier sort of hole. But the South for me is the one, and that's kind of reflected a little bit in the price. So, I mean, you're talking sort of €150 to play Laranjal and the North, and the South's about €30-40 more expensive. So they are punchy in terms of price, but if you're looking at going, you're obviously going to be on a package and probably something a little bit more cost effective than that. For instance, I mean, looking at what Golfbreaks.com are doing at the moment, there's some great packages to play the 3 and stay over and things like that for a fraction of what the green fees would be if you're paying for them individually. And you've obviously got some great accommodation there as well. So we looked at the Wyndham Grand, didn't we? And also the Magnolia Hotel, which are the two that are kind of not on site, but they're within the Quinta del Lago kind of complex and village, if you like. And we actually stayed in some of the villas that were right near the clubhouse, didn't we? Which were great too. So there's tons of accommodation there, lots of different things to suit different budgets as well. You don't have to spend the entire world. And I thought the restaurants, some of the ones we went to, particularly like the Danos of this world, and it was Coco that was near the range that we went to, and obviously the Cheeky Pup. In terms of price, I didn't think they were too bad either. So I think you can go on a pretty decent trip there, have a few beers, and have some nice food, and not break the bank, which I think is a really good thing as well, because a lot of golf courses now are kind of really ramping prices up, aren't they? Particularly some that a few years ago might have been 50, 60, 70 euros to play, are now well over 100, which some of them I don't think represent particularly great value, but I thought all 3 of the courses at Quinta did.
Yeah, no, definitely, I'd agree. And I think the one thing that we haven't mentioned is the fact that the whole area is so close to the airport. It was 15, 20 minutes in the car from the airport, which, it's not a deal breaker for me, but I know some people, don't want to get in a car or a transfer for a couple of hours from an airport. You could literally
one of those. Yeah, I think you want to be less than an hour, don't you?
You could land at 10 o'clock and you could be hitting balls by 11.
Yeah, you could quite easily. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we were sort of out of the airport and it was about 40 minutes, wasn't it, from hitting the tarmac to us. They got the luggage out really quickly. We got the car quite quickly, didn't we? And we were off. So yeah, it was good. The drive from Laranjal back to was it was like going through Jurassic Park, but I think we went the wrong way actually, because we were like, we can't be down there, but it was. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that was a bit of a hairy one. But yeah, generally, I thought it was very good. So convenient. It's a while since I've been there. Like I said, while we were there, it was. I think I was probably 15 years old last time I played Quinta South, which was obviously 20 years ago. So it's changed a bit since then. I don't even think Laranjal was there at that time. I think it's obviously a newer edition, and I'd only played the South. I'd never played the North, so it was great to get out there and play the golf course again. And we were treated to some pretty nice weather when we landed on that Sunday. It was a bit rainy, wasn't it? Yeah, and we were kind of thinking, oh God, we've just come from the rainy UK to Portugal. There's not anywhere, well, not any better really. I mean, the temperature was better. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, that sort of Sunday afternoon, we hit some balls, didn't we? And then went for food Sunday night, and we got up Monday morning, and it was lovely, wasn't it? It was sort of between 18 and 20 degrees, and once the mosquitoes had disappeared, it was nice, wasn't it? Really nice.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Good trip was had by all. Keep your eyes peeled. There's loads of content coming for you to watch. My voice box is testament to how busy we were when we were there. But yeah, really, really good time. So, Matt, what does the next 7 days hold for you? What are you going to be up
to? So we are supposed to be playing at the Grove on Thursday.
Oh, nice.
So it's actually it's my birthday on Thursday.
Oh, very good.
So
big 4-0.
No, I'm away off that yet, mate.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, just look it and feel it. So actually, I'll be honest. I played my golf this last week, so I actually played Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Portugal. Didn't play Thursday, but played Friday at Felixstowe. And my golf got progressively worse as the week got on. So I shot
Oh, really?
I shot 4 over Monday, 6 over Tuesday, about 46 over on Wednesday. And I didn't have a good time at Felixstowe. I mean, I shot 10 over, but that was the best it was going to be. But frustratingly, I feel like I'm hitting the ball pretty well. So I've actually gone and done the last a couple of sessions over this weekend and again today because I've worked up the golf club today. So I've nipped out and did some putting. I just need to kind of dial things back in a little bit. I feel like I've just got a little bit sloppy. So I'm going to do a little bit of practice this week and then, get to the Grove on Thursday. Whether it's raining or not, we'll wait and see. It probably will. But that course should drain pretty well.
I think Thursday's all right. Wednesday looks a bit wet, doesn't it? So I
Yeah,
think Thursday will be all right.
yeah. But the golf course here, so I'm sitting at Stowmarket, my first home, and that's been closed since Sunday. Today it'll be closed tomorrow. It took some of the pictures that we saw of the course. It's as bad as I've ever seen it in the nearly 6 years I've been a member here. So, at the moment, just shout out to the greenkeepers that are battling it. It's been such a wet winter. We're getting so much rain. Just have a bit of patience, guys, because they're doing all
Yeah,
they can.
it's disheartening, not just for the
Yeah,
greenkeeper, but for members are some of the comments you hear are pretty stupid, but I mean that most are quite sympathetic to the problem, aren't they? They want to get out and play as well, and it's just frustrating, really, isn't it? But hopefully, fingers crossed, we're in the we've seen the back of it, and we're gonna have a nice upward trajectory towards the nice weather in the summer. But who knows? But like I say, I
what about
can't wait
you?
to get.
You're off to
Well,
Turkey Friday,
this next week I'm just busy. So I've been busy coaching all day today, pretty much all day tomorrow and Wednesday. A bit quieter Thursday, coaching Friday, Saturday, and then next week, sort of Monday to Thursday is pretty steady, and then I go to Turkey Friday, really early Friday morning. So it'll be like a travel day, really, on the Friday. We're playing a bit of a practice round on the Saturday, day off on Sunday, and then the tournament is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then back home Friday again. So we've got two courses that we're playing. We're staying at the Titanic Hotel, which is in Belek, or just outside Belek, should I say, and not stayed there before. I've played one of the golf courses before, but it was very new. They've kind of so there's two courses at Titanic or the Cullinan Golf Club. So that basically in the last few years they've changed what was 27 holes to 36. So there are now two golf courses on the property. So you've got, I think one's called the Olympos and one the Espendos, I think they're called, the courses. I've played one of them. I don't know which one it is, the more inland of the two, but it was just as they'd kind of relayed it, and it was a bit new and not particularly in great nick, but obviously that was 3 years ago, so it's obviously had 3 years growing in. I'm sure it'll be great when we get there. And then the other course is more towards the coast, so I think the view should be a little bit nicer from there, so we'll see. And then our practice round we're playing is at Caia Palazzo, which is the next resort down, which I've not played there before, but looks pretty good. So any of you that have played any of them courses before, give us some feedback, hit us up with a message, and let us know how we get on. But I'll be taking some pictures while I'm there. We've got a few review bits to do. I've got 2 new pairs of Adidas shoes to review while I'm there. So the S to G shoe, which they've changed, or street to golf shoe that they've done, brand new one that I got through the post the other day, and there's also a brand new shoe that I can't talk about, but it's it's good. Well, I think you'll see it next week. So
have you had your new Puma?
not yet. No. Hopefully it'll
Come
be
on,
in the next few
Puma.
days.
I'm still waiting as well. Come on, Puma.
What's it called? Nitro Cat.
The Alpha Cat Nitro, I think.
Alpha Cat Nitro.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. So I've seen lots of pictures of it. I saw it about 4 or 5 months ago when I did my pre-book, and it did look really smart. But I should be getting a pair through the post any day, hopefully, to do a review of. But it's kind of the season. It seems like this is the season of footwear now. FootJoy have had a few new pairs out. We had a Nike pair that we did a review of while we were in Portugal as well. So there's a fair few different pairs of shoes. There's some more Nike ones I've seen because Brooks Koepka wore them for the first time the other week. that are their kind of, I think they call it Infinity Next Percentage shoe that they do, which looks quite good. But yeah, lots and lots of footwear stuff coming in the coming weeks on the YouTube channel. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for those.
Are we
Matt, we're
going
out of
to?
time.
I
I've
was
been
going to say,
waffling for too
are
long.
we going to finish off very quickly with your claim to fame? Are we allowed to talk about that?
My claim to fame.
Yeah, your little rubbing shoulders in Portugal when somebody coming to approach you.
Yeah, we can do. I forgot about that.
How could you forget about that? Tell the world, tell the millions of fans who stopped you and said, Ryan, I love your content. Keep doing what you're doing.
He didn't say that. What he said was "hello, mate," and shook my hand. It was the one and only former world snooker champion, Mr. John Parrott, that I saw. So I'd never met John before, but he walked up to me as if he'd known me for about 20 years, shook my hand, and automatically I'm thinking, he thinks I'm somebody else. But then he started talking about golf videos, to which I obviously had a nice conversation with him. But yeah, really, really nice guy. And I was a bit kind of, it was a bit of a weird conversation, really, because I was thinking all the time, I'm almost trying to make, what am I going to say to make him feel better because he's got the wrong person? But no, he said that he'd been watching some of the review stuff this year and keep making the YouTube videos and that he was enjoying them. So yeah, there you go.
Hopefully he sees this on the YouTube and he gets in touch.
Hope so. Yeah, contact us, John. We want to talk to you about golf. Yeah, and we want to ask you some questions about your game and how you got into this crazy sport. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. I saw him and I was thinking, bloody hell, it's John Parrott. And then he came straight over to me and shook my hand. So yeah, it's weird. But yeah, there we go. I'd forgotten about that, Matt. Thanks for bringing that up. That was great.
That's all right.
So yeah, that's it. So that's all we've got time for. My claim to fame at the end. But yeah, we'll be back next week with a little bit of a rundown of what's gone on in professional golf, as well as loads more to bring you to help you play more and play better. So we'll speak to you soon. Bye.